I would like first of all to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, many of whom died actually for France during the two world wars. I will also, of course, acknowledge Michael Mishin, who makes us the immense pleasure of being tonight with us, MLC, Attorney General, Minister for Commerce. We, of course, have Mr. Rob Butler, Deputy Lord Mayor of the City of Perth. I would like please to take this opportunity to have a round of applause for the City of Perth. They made this absolutely marvelous Perth Town Hall available to us tonight, and have been extremely helpful in the overall organization of the event. I would like also to welcome the Honourable Michael Sutherland, Speaker of the Legislative Assembly. Welcome, Michael. I would like to welcome Nick Guaran as well, who is effectively our proxy French Member of Parliament. So welcome, Nick. It's also an immense pleasure to have here all the colleagues of the Consular Corps. Bienvenue à tous. All the other eminent representatives that we have here tonight. If I forget anyone, I owe you something. I would like, of course, to thank the sponsors, other, of course, than the City of Perth, who have helped us tonight. We have had, of course, last but not least, the support of the institutions that you have here. I thank them very warmly, and also all the volunteers who made that night possible. Thank you to all. Please, a round of applause again for the volunteers. It's a very pivotal period for the relationship between Australia and France. In the last period, we have had effectively the first visit of a French president to Australia. François Hollande came for the G20 in November last year. It was effectively followed by the first state visit ever, and it was a long and meaningful one, the way we love it in France. It was a way also, of course, of reinforcing the position that Australia has for France as a G20 country, but also as a country that has a very large set of shared values with France. The community here in Western Australia has more than doubled over the last 4 or 5 years. We have about 12,000 members of the community now. We have also strong institutions, as Michael mentioned. The Alliance Française has been here for a very long time, and we all work together to reinforce the links between France and Western Australia. This year is especially marked by the beginning of the celebration of what we call Merci Down Under, or Thank You Australia, which will be our event to, over 4 years, commemorate and celebrate the sacrifice of the diggers. You have mentioned it in your speeches before. We have a real debt of blood to Australia. 45,000 Australians died on French soil. This is by far more than anywhere else on the planet. Australians know that. About 700,000 Australians visit the battlefields of France every year, and this debt of blood is effectively very present. There are also victories, and I think the battlefields of France deserve, because of that, probably an equal importance in the general psyche of Australia as Gallipoli. Victories are important. The sheer number of people who died is also important. The Canadians actually understand quite well this fact, because their Gallipoli is Vimy, and Vimy is not far from Villers-Bretonneux, for example. Tony Abbott acknowledged that fact when he visited the battlefields of France a few months ago. So certainly this debt of blood is very important to us. And Merci Down Under is our way of saying thank you to Australia. We have given a series of Légion d'honneur to deserving Australian veterans over the last few months. The Légion d'honneur is the highest military honor in France. It's the equivalent, for example, in the military field to the Victoria Cross. So it's certainly very important. Beyond this debt of blood, I think I would like to acknowledge the vibrancy of the relationship today between France and Australia. We are neighbors. People sometimes forget that New Caledonia is France, so we share a common interest in the security of the Pacific. We also, as I said before, share a lot of values. We fight together side by side in the Middle East against Daesh. which is effectively the beheadings of today. So we have to stand together to defend freedom and to defend the values that we love. At the same time, fighting counter-terrorism is quite important for the two countries. We also have, in Australia, the largest French community in the Asia-Pacific region. We have about 100,000 French established today in Australia. This is building up quite rapidly over the last few years, simply because, as you quite well know, we have had a crisis in Europe, and Australia, going quite well economically, has become a magnet to a lot of young, ambitious young French people and French companies. The weight of the French community in Western Australia is now putting us to become more active in Perth. I would like to invite you to come to Bonjour Perth, which is the event that we are organizing in Langley Park on October 24th. So everything French will be on display that day, from food to culture. So please come in numbers, bring your friends. It's going really to be a very nice way of celebrating all things French in Western Australia. Finally, for those of you who are a bit sad to be missing the Tour de France on TV tonight, sorry for that, but I would like to share a bit of sporting trivia with you, is that France now has a footy team. It's true. They even came third, actually, at the last World Championships. Michael, I would like to reciprocate. I don't have a glass, but I would like please to raise a glass to the Queen. To the Queen and to Australia.
Okay.
Vive l'Australie et vive la France!